Phillies by the end of the night tonight, as Robleski gets his first home start this year, tries to build off his first win as a starter in a year and a half. Picked that up in Toronto last week. The lineup that he'll face off with from Carlos Mendoza here in Game 1 looks like this, with Lindor to lead things off, and then a bunch of new faces. Luis Robert over from the Chicago White Sox. Mark Vientos at first base. Yes, Bo Bichette of the Toronto Blue Jays comes to the Mets, plays third base. Jorge Polanco goes from the Mariners to the Mets. Francisco Alvarez has been their best hitter so far. Tommy Pham, his season debut, just brought him up from the minors today with Marcus Semien. And the local guy Tyrone Taylor rounding things out for the Mets. So Lindor climbs in like a lot of these guys trying to get his season going. Off we go with a fastball that misses down and in, ball one. Lindor usually a slow starter, and he's at just 188 so far this season. But how about no home runs, no runs batted in? And the bigger deal, in talking to people around the Mets and seeing some of the clips, is that he's had mental errors too in the field and on the bases. Even in past years when the bat's been cold to start, you would never see those things from him.
Yeah, one of the things, the physical part of the game, there's always going to be ebbs and flows, but the mental part is something that you can bring that every day. And when you don't, that means your mind's drifting. There's other things that are taking up your energy. And that's what we've seen on this early part of the season so far with Lindor.
Robleski brings him 1-2, misses downstairs. Count evens 2 balls and 2 strikes. Close call. Nice play, Mark, and framed it.
And he was playing out of position all those years. He should have been short.
Fly ball right field, routine for Kyle Tucker, and Lindor is the first out of the ball game. That's kind of been the deal so far for Justin Robleski. He's only struck out 4 guys, but he's got the second lowest hard hit rate against in the National League.
Well, and any pitcher will tell you, if you remove the ego, I just want outs. Here's what he's throwing at you. The four-seamer and the slider, he's throwing that about 80% of the time. You see how effective that slider has been. If you can miss the barrel of the bat, you take that all day long over strikeouts. And the reason so is you'll be much more pitch efficient.
Strike one on Luis Robert. Yeah, he's cut that hard hit rate in half from last year. And you talked about the pitch mix. That's been one of the big changes from Robleski. We were talking about this during his start against Toronto, but he said last year the biggest thing that happened for him was he realized what makes him good, and that is the fastball and the slider. So as you said, he's gone way up in usage of those 2 pitches. It's 1-2 on Luis Robert. You look throughout his career, EK, at the difference in the numbers when he's a reliever versus a starter. He's got an ERA below 3 when he's a reliever. It's above 7 as a starter. And part of the reason why is he's tended to get too cute in the starts. He's thought, you know, I got to use a bunch of different pitches to get through it. Bouncing ball to Espinal at second. They've told him, instead of trying to go 6 innings, how about you go pour it out 1 inning 6 times?
That makes a lot of sense, and I think you hit it right on the head. As a starter, you're thinking you got to show 4 or 5 pitches because 2 just won't cut it. But it does cut it, and it does cut it with Robleski's stuff.
He's retired the first 2 Mets. Up comes Mark Vientos. We've got one of the last spots on the roster for New York, and quickly found himself in the lineup. It trickled down to the injuries. It's not just Juan Soto out with the calf injury, but Jorge Polanco, who they signed to play first base, has been limited to DH because of an Achilles issue. And Vientos' first week or so on the job has taken full advantage of it, but he, like the entire Mets offense, has gone into a funk. Hitless his last 17 at-bats. On a 1-1 from Robleski, fouls it off, strike 2.
Well, that's one of the things with this Mets offense. You know, if a couple guys are hitting, then you can hide the guys that aren't hitting. But collectively as an offense, they haven't done well. So then it gets magnified. I mean, you can't hide it all. You know, Vientos, you know, early in his career, he's been good. They're just looking for more consistency.
He had the 27 home runs in 2024, and then a huge postseason. Last year, though, lost his spot. And then they signed Bo Bichette, have Bichette play third. Vientos had a terrible spring, but he's out of options, so made the roster almost by default. Grounds this one foul. It's funny, for years it was okay, who's it going to be, Vientos or Beatty? Beatty or Vientos to take that third base spot, and they've gone back and forth, had their moments each. Suddenly it's neither of them. Both those guys trying to turn into utility men to hold on to their spots. With Bichette coming over, and shortstop occupied by Francisco Lindor. Bichette playing third for the first time. Total overhaul for this Mets lineup. A lot of the longtime faces, a lot of the fan favorites gone, like Alonso, Nimmo, McNeil, Marte. But they bring in Bichette, they bring in Semien. We just saw Luis Robert. Good Jorge Polanco.
New addition tonight, right? Tommy Pham as well. I mean, it's a veteran group.
Swing and a miss at a slider to finish off a 1-2-3 first inning for Robleski. Well, you know, you cannot take too long. Your trip to the restroom, go get some snacks before the bottom of the first, because this guy leads things off. Ohtani leads off, and then it's Kyle Tucker and Will Smith. Teoscar Hernandez in left field hitting cleanup tonight. Freddie Freeman bats fifth. Andy Pages, the top hitter in baseball so far, roams center field and bats sixth. Muncie's at third. Espinal gets his third start of the season, and Miguel Rojas back in there as the 9-hitter in shortstop against the left-hander David Peterson, who was awesome in his first start of the year, 5 1/3 scoreless innings, but he's given up 11 runs his last 2 starts. He is a sinker baller, and that sinker ain't been sinking.
No, it certainly hasn't. He'll mix in that changeup as well, but the changeup hasn't been effective. Those 2 pitches have been hit the hardest against him this year.
Ahead of Ohtani 0-2. And here is the pitch mix. He said that he thinks, you know, the sinker and the changeup he's been throwing more than ever. He says he thinks part of the problem is he's throwing those pitches too much.
Well, if one guy, if you're hitting 500 against a sinker and 333 against a changeup, it's obviously you're throwing those way too much.
Ohtani gets hit by this 0-2. As long as he's okay, that's a gift. Well, it's not a leadoff home run, but it is a leadoff base runner for the Dodgers as Ohtani gets hit by this 2-strike pitch.
Right, and for most guys, you'd say, okay, it's not that big of a deal. It's in the back, but that's throwing, and that's pitching, and that's, you know, right up there. And again, is it structurally going to cause an issue? No, but it's going to leave a mark. It's going to be a little short. Got that start on Wednesday.
That's right. And the on-base streak extended now 47 games, the longest since Sean Green at a 53-gamer in 2000. And with within 11 games of the franchise record held by Duke Snider in the 1950s. Ohtani's on, Tucker's up, and he takes ball 1 from Peterson. Well, the Dodgers, the #1 offense in baseball so far by far, even though Tucker hasn't really hit yet. Freddie Freeman hasn't gotten the results yet. They haven't had Mookie Betts for the last week. All guys that you can pretty much put in ink that they're going to hit. 1 ball, 1 strike on Tucker. What have you seen so far from Tucker?
I mean, I think he's just getting acclimated, but again, it's a longer swing. It's not short, but he's always had success. You're not going to look at him and say, wow, that just fundamentally looks great. Probably been a bit more aggressive as well.
Where the patience is one of the
crazy. Strike out to walk, you know, it's usually 1-1. Again, it's 15, 16 games. You know, whether you were ridiculously hot or struggling, it's not enough to, get all worked up about.
No patience so far here. This 2-1 pitch, a little bit down, ball 3. And this is a little more like it from him.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is you mentioned those names, Freddie and Tucker here, Mookie not being around. If those types of players were missing from other ball clubs, they're crippled. Here, it's okay. Somebody else will do it.
First to reach for the Dodgers without having to take the bat off of their shoulder. So Ohtani gets hit. Tucker walks. And Will Smith comes up to the plate. He's kind of a nice guy to have come up as a segue to what you were talking about, because he got the MVPs, maybe not doing what you expected from him, bottom of the order, stealing the show. And then, oh yeah, you still have Will Smith doing what he always seems to do, 400 over his last 8 games, as quiet of a 295 and plus 800 OPS as you could have.
And really, if you're an opposing team, an opposing pitcher, this is probably the last guy you want to see or have to pitch to with runners on base. Freddie probably being the other, but where's the hole? Where are you going to pitch to him? Just so compact, and hits to the count, hits to the situation.
Dalton Rushing started yesterday's game. Smith came off of the bench and drew a walk. He's reached base in more than half his plate appearances his last 7 games. 2 on, nobody out in this first inning. Strike 1. The Dodgers saw David Peterson twice last year when he was really good. Twice in the first half last year, and he went 7+ innings in both games. Part of an all-star first half. Really a year-and-a-half stretch there. All of 24, first half of 25. He was one of the best pitchers in the league. But his ERA was above 6 after the all-star break, and the start of this season's been more of a continuation of that. 30 years old, final season of his contract, headed into free agency after this year. Fires 1-1. Smith grounds it sharply and through. The Dodgers waste no time getting on the board. Smith knocks in Ohtani 1-0 before there's an out.
Two great reasons to have short arms. You can pull your hands in and hit the ball up the middle, and you don't have to pick up dinner checks. I mean, seriously, where do you pitch that guy? I mean, it is, you go in, he's still able to pull his hands in. You try to go away, he waits for the ball, lets it get deep and drives it the other way.
Hit batter, walk, single. Now Teoscar Hernandez. Had yesterday off. He homered and doubled on Saturday. Yeah, and after a slow first series, first homestand, he's up above 300. Only Andy Pages has a higher average than Teoscar Hernandez on the Dodgers. Even though he's not really hit left-handers yet, which is what he's always been known for. On this 0-1 from Peterson, he fouls it off, strike 2. Shohei still wincing. A hit by pitch. So David Peterson still looking for his first out. Tucker at second, Smith at first. The lefty comes home, and Hernandez takes downstairs. Dodgers leading the majors in home runs by a wide stretch. They've hit 7 more than any other team. They're hitting 290 when the league average is 235. The 1-2 pitch. Hernandez lays off again, 2-2. From 0-2 to 3-2.
2 of the 4 hitters so far, 3 ball counts.
And Peterson, part of his issues through the years have involved walks, which has made it surprising. Teams have been extra aggressive against him so far this year. Dodgers waiting him out, though. 3-2. Taken for ball 4. The first 4 have reached, and the bases are loaded. And it is longtime New York Met killer Freddie Freeman among active players. Nobody's got more hits. Nobody's knocked in more runs. Nobody more extra base hits. And he's got a chance to make this a lopsided score very quickly.
So it really does. That's not what you want to see if you're a visiting ball club where you're already walking out to the mound in the first inning.
You should typically have an out before you do a mound visit.
I mean, that is not the way the Mets wanted to start things. You know, but it's interesting. You know, Peterson's gone to a 3-ball count on 2 hitters, ended up walking him. Shohei, he had him down 0-2. Will Smith, he had him 1-2. So you know, in his mind, he's thinking, I'm right there, but then I'm not right there with the other guys. And I think it just speaks to the patience and the relentlessness of this offense. It's not just go up there and hit.
17 pitches already and looking for his first out. He faces Freddie Freeman with the bases loaded in the first inning. Freeman swings and misses at a first pitch slider. Well, Freddie had a single yesterday. His on-base streak now at 11 games. Otani says, cute, Freddie. His 47 gamer. The 0-1 pitch. Strike 2. Back-to-back sliders to begin Freeman. Slider's been the best pitch so far for Peterson. Opponents was 1 for 13 against that pitch. And he's not thrown it much. It's been more the sinker and the changeup. Here's his 0-2. Sticks with it, and this time Freeman checks.
I was going to say, he's got Freddie looking away right now, and he went inside to Tucker, tried to go inside to Shohei. See if he tries to go in there right now.
Strikes him out, sinker to the knees, and there is the first out of the bottom of the first inning. Just barely caught the zone.
Just barely caught the zone, and again, I think Freddie was looking out over the plate for that slider, and Peterson was able to sneak one in.
Andy Pages, who leads the majors hitting .429, leads the majors with 17 knocked in, and you don't have that many runs batted in without being great with runners in scoring position. Andy is 8 for 14 with runners in scoring position so far this year. You hit in the bottom of this lineup and produce with men on, you're going to rack up RBI totals that are pretty ridiculous. First one from Peterson is through the back door for a strike.
Good way to start a year. Obviously, those numbers, more than anything, it allows you to sleep well at night. And for a younger player, always great to start the season hot.
You love, especially make meaningful changes to get that instant validation. I would imagine it's one thing to feel good in the cage, but then to show up and have it work.
Well, that's the thing, right? You always want to buy into the quote-unquote process, but you got to see results.
Bases loaded, 1 away. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Pages shoots one down the line, foul. You're asking, where do you go against Will Smith? You're kind of starting to ask that question against Andy Pages, who's had plenty of holes his first 2 years in the majors, but has closed those down.
And what's crazy is you look at that chart right here, and you see where he's hitting 0 up and down the middle. But on either side of those, he's killing the ball. The plate coverage has been uncanny this early part of the year.
Chase is right here, 2 out, back-to-back Ks for Peterson.
And who put up that chart?
Yeah. Who said it? Play discipline's been uncanny? That's what I want to know. Yeah, so Peterson is not necessarily known for the strikeouts, trying to use them to elbow his way out of this jam. Max Muncy, monster game on Friday night. 3 home runs, 3 strikeouts yesterday, though. Bases loaded in the first inning. First pitch from Peterson is in for a strike. One of the reasons Muncy's gotten off to a good start is he's been excellent against left-handed pitching. He hit 157 against lefties last year. In a very small sample size, he's at 385 this year. Peterson's 0-1. Muncy fouls it off of the home plate umpire, Nick Lentz. And if you're the Mets and David Peterson, this is a huge win if you're able to get out of this with just 1 run. The 0-2. 3 consecutive Ks from Peterson after the first 4 reached. And it started into his wind and then stopped there. Pitch com malfunction. It was odd. Brent Walker, the mental skills coach, is the one who went.
Well, he's in charge.
Something in charge.
Yeah, he's in charge of the pitch com.
Anything head related.
There you go. Yeah. Right.
He said, "Can I go over there?" This feels like a great time for a word from Morongo.
Eddie Griffin live and unleashed April 17th. Morongo.
This feels like different than most pitch com malfunctions.
Yeah, right.
It's like somebody's hacked the system and he's hearing voices.
Uh-oh. That's the first time I think I've ever seen Brett. That's, yeah, again, mental skills coach, and he just looked up at Robo with like a facial expression of bewilderment. Yeah, which, like, that's the last guy that that's who you tell your problems to, right? Right. He shouldn't even have that expression in the arsenal, right?
He says, "I'm good." So Robleski's got this figured out. Yeah, we'll get the second inning started. Bo Bichette to lead off.
Pitch clock violation on the pitcher.
Yeah, the way he's carrying his glove, right?
So there was a pitch clock violation there. So Bichette starts with a 1-0 count. This is disjointed. Bichette hit his first home run in a Mets uniform over the weekend against the A's. Quiet first week, but has got things started. He takes a little bit inside ball 1. Perhaps nobody lost more when or ball 2. Nobody lost more when the Blue Jays lost that game 7 than he did, just in terms of memories and stature and moments, because it looked like for the longest time that his home run was going to be the one that they always talked about, was going to be the one that won the Blue Jays the World Series.
I mean, obviously, as a Dodger fan, you didn't like that, but as a baseball fan, just that moment to see that, obviously you were there calling it, the energy, and would have been a moment to never forget for this young man.
Sharply hit, diving stop, Miguel Rojas. No way. Wow. Once again, Rojas takes something from Bichette.
Once a Blue Jay, always a Blue Jay. And Miguel Rojas still a thorn in anybody that wore Toronto's uniform.
That's such a sweet play. 106-mile-per-hour shot off of the bat of Bichette there that Rojas picks off. Standing O. So it's Jorge Polanco now who flies this one to right field. Routine for Kyle Tucker, and Robleski has retired the first 5.
That ball that Bichette hit had a 62% hit probability. I mean, as a hitter, you got to have those, and as a defensive player, anytime you can make a play like that, man, you just thinking, golly, I am sweet.
Those are the ones that, as the hitter, send you back to the hotel staring at the ceiling all night, right? 2 outs in the second inning. Francisco Alvarez, who's been a bright spot for the Mets, really back to the All-Star break last year. And already 4 home runs this season. Testament to how the rest of the team has done this year. Those 4 home runs have produced a total RBI line of 4.
Oof.
Fouls it off. 1 ball, 1 strike. Alvarez hit 25 home runs a few years ago as a rookie, but then thumb, hand, pinky, wrist issues for a couple years. Went down to AAA midway through last season to figure everything out, and has been a different guy since coming back. Carried it over to a big spring training, and so far in this regular season, he's gone to another level even from what he was doing late last year. Robleski has him in a 1-2 hole, comes back home, and a fastball is lifted in the air to center field, off of the hands, and Andy Pages puts it away. 10-1, 2-3 second with some help from Miguel Rojas. Full extension to get Bichette. David Peterson somehow got out of that first inning with just the 1 run, having scored. First 4 batters reached, and then he struck out 3 in a row to limit the damage. I don't know if I've ever seen a StatCast batter dive out of the way. I didn't know he could do that.
Well, how about the crazy thing right there is only 2 of those really were strikes. They were in the zone, and even those right on the edge. And that's a trick of pitching. Make the balls look like strikes, and that's what he did to get out of that inning.
Santiago Espinal leads off this second for the Dodgers and takes ball 1. Espinal in his first season with the team, of course, happy to come over to the back-to-back defending champs, but because they're the back-to-back defending champs, hard to find time to get in there. It's just the 3rd start for Espinal out of their first 16 games. Makes it at second base today. That's his natural spot. He's played a lot of second, a lot of third, a little bit of first. On a 2-1 from Peterson, Espinal bounces it past him to a well-positioned Marcus Semien for the first out. El Rojas, that fantastic defensive play in the top of this inning, heads up there, the bottom of the second.
Shortstop number 72, Miguel Rojas.
Off of the bench all 3 games this weekend. Reached base all 3 times that he came up. A lot of his playing time will come against lefties, and so far so good for him. 5 out of 11 against left-handers, and he has always hit David Peterson well. Very cool. Miggy, of course, losing his father last week. Lost his mom to cancer years back. Playing in both of their memory. Swings and misses at a curve. David Peterson already with 4 Ks. First time through the lineup. And Ohtani's up there for his second look at Peterson.
Yeah, really been a tale of 2 different pitchers going through that lineup for the first time. First 4 batters all reached base, and as you mentioned, 4 of the last 5 have struck out.
So pretty much opposite of what we talked about off of the top tonight, where it's just the bottom half of the order getting the job done.
Locked in.
Yes. Ohtani, the back-to-back games with leadoff home runs, gives him 20 leadoff home runs in his 2+ years with the Dodgers. Already has him in the top 5 in franchise history. Franchise record holder Mookie Betts, 32 leadoff home runs. That is a lot of games started with a home run.
So you know what's crazy though too is Mookie had a whole career over in Boston.
Right.
You know, you would think 32. Wow, that's.
I double checked it. Like, wait a minute. You sure that's not his whole career?
Right.
32?
Yeah. That's.
Stays alive, flipping it foul. And down swinging. And so first 4 batters of the game reach against Peterson. Since then, he's retired 6 in a row, 5 of them via the strikeout. To discover movement that inspires. Top 3 Dodgers by a run as Tommy Pham makes his 2026 New York Mets debut. They just signed Pham to a minor league contract on opening day. 5 games in low A. Desperate times call for desperate measures, though, with this offense looking for some kind of spark, looking for a veteran they feel like they can rely on, somebody that they know. He was with the Mets for part of the 23 season. But his first at bat is a prompt one. Robleski has his second K as he's retired the first 7.
Didn't waste any time. 3 pitches. Right back to the dugout. You know, I think Tommy Pham coming up to this ball club, though, he's going to make an impact. Just the way he plays the game, and you know what we've seen with Lindor, you know, kind of not there mentally. And not going to be allowed with him on this ball club.
He is the ultimate intense edge player. Kind of guy that it seems like if he's on your team, you love him and are somewhat scared of him. Yeah, on the other team, you never liked the guy. Marcus Semien drives this ball in the air to center field, but he gets under it. No big deal for Andy Pages. Thing is, for Tommy Pham, he's played for just about everybody by now, so he's got friends all over the league. Maybe not friends, but certainly guys that appreciate what he brings.
Yeah, you mentioned the intensity, and you know he's going to leave it all out there. He's going to play as hard as anyone. Going to come prepared.
11 teams that he's been with over his 13 major league seasons. That's a strike on Tyrone Taylor. That is only 3 teams shy of the all-time record. Edwin Jackson started his career here with the Dodgers on his 20th birthday. Went on to play 15 years in the big leagues. 14 different teams for Edwin Jackson. Next up on that list, Rich Hill. 13 teams. And then you've got Pham. Quickly 0-2 on Taylor.
How about Robo this inning? 7 pitches, all 7 strikes.
Very much so has done what we were talking about right off of the top with him, and that is look like a reliever going out there 1 inning at a time and just letting it eat. Tapper along the line, foul. Five innings in Toronto in his first start of the year. This is a temporary thing, just depending on the schedule. They're trying to make his case to continue to be a big part of this staff and be the first guy they think of when they do need a 6th starter.
Well, he's handled the role well. Very tough for a young guy, you know, especially a guy that if he's on another ball club, you know, he could be as high as a 3rd starter, but you know, easy at 3, 4, or 5 for a lot of ball clubs.
Same deal we're talking about with Santiago Espinal, right? Like how cool I get to be with the world champions, but the barrier of entry is so high.
Well, and especially if you're a guy like Robleski, right? That's you're a young guy, you're a pitcher, you got so many bullets, and you know you have a finite time to make some money. I mean, sure, it's romantic to want to play here and win, and you know, but there's also a reality too that you know you want to be one of those guys that's called on every 5th day.
8th pitch to Taylor is inside. The count goes full. Robleski in his 3rd season with time in the majors, 2 years ago and back and forth, and he's had his moments where he has shined, especially in the postseason last year. He's had his low moments that have led to big learning stretches for him too. His payoff to Taylor is chopped along the line, foul. But again, still just 25. 3rd season. He went a long ways in the organization's eyes. What he did coming in cold in the World Series last year, having not pitched in more than a month. Taylor with a shot to 3rd that Muncy goes up to spear. But a couple hard hit balls, but the left side of the infield helping Robleski out. He's gone 9 up and 9 down, and the Dodgers have a 1-0 lead. And kept this a 1-0 game as we go to the bottom of the 3rd, and Kyle Tucker leads off. Misses away with the sinker, and we were saying Peterson felt like he was throwing too much of that sinker, too much of the changeup. The slider had been his best pitch, and he is leaning on that. Dodgers 0 for 3, 3 Ks against it. Curveball just misses right there for ball 2.
Well, he's been throwing that slider a lot more too to these left-handed hitters as well. Threw him the months and set up Freddie, put him away with a sinker.
Home of the 2-1. Tucker grounds it foul. 2-2. First round draft pick back in 2017 was David Peterson. He shined as a rookie in the short 2020 season, and then injuries for years. His hip had bugged him for years, got that operated on, and then he had the stretch where he was so good, 24 and started 25. Now you look up and he's the longest tenured guy in the Mets. Nimmo gets traded. Alonso goes to the Orioles. Diaz to the Dodgers, and in his 7th year, nobody's been there longer. Shaken, 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 has one that he likes. And here he comes to the payoff. Outside of the second walk taken by Tucker. Let's get a word from the SoCal Ford dealers.
See Ford in a new light. F-150, Mustang Mach-E, or Bronco. It's time to get to your Ford dealer today.
Dodgers up 1-0. Here's the guy that knocked in that lone run, Will Smith, an RBI single in the first.
Yeah, tried to bury a sinker in on his hands, and Will able to shoot that thing up the middle.
With that base hit, Smith has his average up to .311 on the season. He's also grading out as one of the best defensive catchers in baseball so far. On the 0-1 from Peterson, he takes it a little high. 1 ball, 1 strike. With catchers, you'll take whatever offense you can get. A lot of times you find catchers sitting at the bottom of the order. It's like, hey, go manage the staff, call a good game, and we'll take what we can get. The full package right here. 2-1.
Well, and the thing for me that makes him so special is, you know, there are some catchers that'll go out and bang and, you know, swing the bat, put the ball in the seats. But he really is about as complete a hitter as you're going to find, whether it was catcher, whether it's first base, whether he was a shortstop, no matter what.
Remember, when he was coming up through the minors, the reputation was this guy's going to be just a great game caller and receiver, and he's a good framer, and, you know, maybe be a league average hitter, and that's great. That's a great player. Now, the defense hasn't been quite as good as maybe you would have forecasted him being a defensive specialist catcher. The bat has been well above and beyond, but we're talking about this year, him putting it all together. Drives this ball on the line to center field. It's right at Luis Robert.
I mean, is there a better combo guy in the league? I don't know that there is.
You know, for years, JT Realmuto when he was at his prime.
But even Realmuto, I don't think he was ever like, this guy is a hitter. You know, he can hit the ball out of the park. He can drive the ball the other way. He can pull one down the line. He can. I mean, it's about as good as there is.
And they've got Cal Raleigh, who had his historic season last year.
I pitched to Cal Raleigh all day long, right?
Raleigh so far this year hitting .133.
And he's that example of a guy that, okay, yeah, going to hit some balls in the seats.
60 of them. I don't want to undermine what.
Yeah,
Cal
no.
Raleigh
It was crazy, right? But I'm still taking Will Smith 100 out of 100 times. Even last year, who do I want to drive in a run from second base? Will Smith.
2-0 to Teo downstairs for ball 3.
Who do I want to hit a game-winning home run in 7th game of the World Series? Will Smith.
We know who Mark DeRosa wanted. He had that choice World Baseball Classic Championship game. Literally, do I want Cal Riley or Will Smith? And he started Will Smith. 4-pitch walk for Hernandez, and so both Tucker and Teo have drawn 2 walks against Peterson. Another chance for LA here. They've had 6 base runners over the first 2+ innings, just a run to show for it. Freddie Freeman is the first guy to see a heavy dose of sliders and went down on strikes.
See how he attacks Freddie this time, as you mentioned, just slider, slider, slider all the way. Got him looking out over the plate, then buzzed his sinker down and in. Got Freddie looking.
Hard to get him out the same way twice.
Ooh.
Fights this thing off foul. Well, the happiest fans when Freddie Freeman came to the Dodgers were Dodger fans. Next on that list, whatever that was there, foul ball swing. Next on that list, probably Mets fans. What he had done to them in the division in Atlanta all those years. On this 0-1 from Peterson, he pokes it down the left field line. Foul.
That had base hit and 2 RBIs written all over it. And now it's just protect mode. Talking to Alvarez there. How'd that go foul?
Sharp ground ball towards the middle. Lindor on the other side of the bag shovels to Simeon to get the out. The ball comes out on the transfer, and they're at first and third with 2 away. So Freeman aboard on the fielder's choice, and Andy Pages for the second time in as many trips up there as an RBI chance.
Number 44, Andy Pages.
Simeon just can't get a handle on that ball at all. Would have had time. All right, give the best hitter in the National League an opportunity to drive in some runs right here.
You saw him chase on a ball in the dirt for strike 3 his first time, something we haven't seen nearly as much of this year. He's got Tucker at third, Freeman at first. Peterson throws. Pages takes ball 1. A little low for ball 2. 17 knocked in for Pages this year, leads the league. It's almost double that of the Mets team leader. Bo Bichette has 9. Team that hits .290 overall goes up to above .300 with runners in scoring position on the year. Curve is lifted in the air to deep left field. Pham's going back towards the corner. Goodbye. Pages connects again. His 5th of the season and give him 20 in the RBI total.
Goes with a pitch that he's not thrown very often at all this game. The curveball thing just kind of hummed there. Pages does not miss it. That's on a 2-0 pitch. Sees a curveball and he's right on it.
Dodgers take advantage this time and lead it 4-0.
I love it.
1 ball 1 strike on Max Muncy. You know, because it's baseball, at some point there's a lull coming from Andy Pages. But he's just showing no signs of slowing up. 1-2 on Muncy.
What made that at bat so amazing for me, it's 2-0, and Peterson has not thrown many curveballs at all tonight. You're thinking maybe, okay, I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to look for a sinker or something out over the plate. He gets a curveball, and then he does something with it. I mean, just his evolution as a hitter, at least early on, has been unreal.
How about this evolution? Pages against breaking balls, 190 as a rookie, 290 last year, 458 this year. Run, and it's 4-0 Dodgers to the top of the 4th inning, and the top of the Mets lineup. Francisco Lindor fly to right to open the ball game, takes ball 1 from Justin Robleski. The Mets come in having scored just 9 runs during this 5-game losing streak, and it's been more the same so far. That's up the middle. I don't know if he got a piece of that. Lindor's the first out of the inning. And the 10th out of the game. Out of the first 10 batters that Robleski's faced. Performance Spotlight, sponsored by your Southern California Nissan dealers, has got some help from a Dodger defense that's helped all the pitchers this year. Just 5 errors, tied for second in the major leagues. One away for Luis Robert. Luis Robert going from the Chicago White Sox to the New York Mets. They've had their eyes on him for a couple of years. White Sox always, though, very high asking price for Robert, who's an intriguing player. Gold Glove defense. Has had stretches offensively where he's been a monster, and they're hoping they can tap into that. He's been off to a good start with the Mets, but he's 0 for 2 tonight with a pair of ground outs to Espinal.
Well, just the type of inning that Robo was looking for. Dodgers put up a 3 spot. He comes out and retires 2 right away. You go back to that 3-run inning, set up by 2 walks. Again, the Dodgers, they do it so many different ways. Yes, the home run, but how'd they get there? Eyeballed you to death.
Been no better combo of power and patience,
right,
in this generation. Vientos, a strikeout victim his first time. Skies this one down the right field line. Freeman's over there to give it a look, but it'll be a souvenir. Power and patience, but at times, with the early exits prior to the back-to-back championships, an inability to get a big hit in a big spot. More and more recent years, the power and the patience, but also the hit collecting ability. And you see so far this year, the team hitting 290. And the league average is at 235, showing that ability again.
The hitter is challenging.
We got an ABS challenge coming right here, powered by T-Mobile. Vientos loses that challenge. It is strike 2. Grounded to third. Muncy knocks it down, sticks with it, and Justin Robleski is perfect through 4 innings.
Dodgers.com/promotions.
Santiago Espinal leads off, takes a strike from David Peterson. Of course, the Dodgers left Brooklyn a few years after that with the San Francisco Giants, both teams going west. And when the Mets formed soon after that, the blue and the orange brought back spirits of those 2 teams. Grounded down to third, picked up by Bichette, and Espinal is the first out of the 4th. Well, the hidden hand of defense showing up in this ball game. He showed Marcus Semien couldn't get the ball out of his glove to turn what would have been an inning-ending double play. 1 batter later, Pages cranks a 3-run home run. Robleski's perfect in this ball game with some fantastic defense behind him. None brighter than the play this guy made.
Yeah, really a great note, though, a great observation there of Semien not being able to turn that double play, because you're right. Should have been out of the inning right there. Just couldn't get a handle on it. And those are the things that don't show up in a box score. And I'm telling you, the coaching staff certainly realized it.
Rojas sends it down the right field line. Long run for Taylor, won't get there, and it's a fair ball that bounces into the seats. A double. Well, Rojas doing it all tonight.
Using the whole field and all those hips. See that pitch up in the zone, even in a little bit, but keeps that front elbow down and stays level with that ball.
They're getting close to his 1,000th career hit and his 200th career double. He's at second, one gone. Ohtani's at the plate, and Shohei swings and misses, strike one. Hit by a pitch in the first inning, came in to score. Struck out in the second. One of the 6 for Peterson. Sharply hit. Backhand play Vientos. Feeds Peterson for the second out. Up to third goes Rojas. And Peterson in some pain here. Carlos Mendoza, along with a member of the training staff, coming out here.
Remember, he had the hip issues, right? Had the hip surgery, and it just didn't look clean over there at first base. You know, the way he caught it, almost looked like maybe jam his hip. Remember last year there was that play at first base. Kodai Senga, who was one of the best pitchers in the game at the time numerically. The ball hit to first baseman Pete Alonso, and he made an errant throw, and Senga jumped to try and catch it. Didn't come down healthy. Had a rehab stint for a while and just never regained that form that he had.
Well, so many times in recent history and throughout their history, the Mets have practiced Murphy's Law, haven't they?
Yeah. Really have.
Kyle Tucker here with a 2-out chance. Runner at third. Dodgers up 4-0. And perhaps a slow start that the Mets have this season should be a good sign, because the last 2 years it's been backwards from however they've started the season. 2 years ago they were one of the worst teams in baseball to begin the year. Wound up going to the National League Championship Series. Last year they were the best team in baseball in mid-June and wound up missing the playoffs altogether. So they got them right where they want them at 7-9. Bouncing ball to first. Vientos again. An instant replay, but he says, "I'll handle this one, big fella." And that's that in the fourth. Make it easy. 12 up, 12 down for Justin Robleski and the Dodgers. On to the fifth we go. Bo Bichette cranks another, but another stop from the left side of the infield. Muncy over to first. One pitch, one out here in the fifth. And this has been for Robleski what he's done all season so far. He's not missing many bats. He's got just 2 Ks, but one gone in the fifth inning on just 50 pitches. For the most part has missed the barrel, and when he's found the barrel, the ball's found a defender.
Yeah, it really has. Only 3 swing and misses on 29 swings so far this early part of the game. But we said it, that was one of the things that has changed. The swing and miss hasn't been there, but he's been much more efficient, and he's been, you know, missing for the most part barrels.
And how about this as he pours in strike one on Jorge Polanco? We're talking about him leaning on what makes him him, the fastball and the slider. That had been up above 80% so far. 50 of the 51 pitches have been fastball or slider tonight. One curveball. That is taking to the extreme. Go out there and be a reliever inning by inning, stack it all up, and you got yourself a start. Polanco flexes one down the line. Muncy back. It is foul.
Well, it's pretty simple. If the other team can't show you that they can hit the ball, and it's only 2 pitches, why give them an opportunity with something that, you know, isn't one of your better pitches? And I know it sounds simple. You know, as a pitcher, you may think, yeah, it's only 2 pitches, though. They're going to get this. Well, show me first. Show me that they can get to it.
Home with another 0-2. Down the line. This one foul as well. When I was talking to him about it, he said, I'm kind of a striver. I'm always trying to find ways to improve and get better. But I had to tell myself, like, that doesn't mean add. It means do what makes you good. Another 0-2 to Polanco. Fastball, punch right side and through, and there's the first base runner of the game for the Mets. Jorge Polanco with an opposite field single. And it had gone deep enough into this game, and he was looking good enough where the crowd gives him a hand there. At the same time, you can sense the disappointment with what they knew was going on there.
I mean, heck, they should be happy enough they got the Hello Kitty stuff.
Right.
Whether they want a perfect game, too, or no. I mean, don't get greedy here.
You got the cat that's not a cat on a hoodie. So Polanco's aboard. Francisco Alvarez comes up. Grounded out to short his first time. Takes a slider for a strike. Big bouncer up the middle. Espinal waits. He's on the bag as he fields it and over to first to end the inning. So he promptly erases the base runner and has faced the minimum through 5. Halfway home, 4-zip. It'll be harder and harder to hide if Andy Pages keeps on doing what he's doing. Smith leads off. Knocked in the first run for the Dodgers back in the first inning, then lined to center. One ball, one strike. And the first of 3 between these teams. Yoshinobu Yamamoto goes for the Dodgers tomorrow, then Shohei Ohtani on Wednesday. How about these Mets as they try to break out of this slump? The pitching that they're facing. Tonight was supposed to be the night where they had a chance against Robleski, but Robleski nearly perfect through 5 innings. And next few games they got Yamamoto, Ohtani, and then they face Edward Cabrera. Those 3 guys together have a 1.54 ERA. High fly ball to left field for Tommy Pham. And the first out of the 5th.
You mentioned the pitching that they're running into. It just, again, when you're struggling, it just seems to continue to get worse and worse. But, you know, one of these games are going to break out, and it's going to be one of those things where you didn't see it coming. Now, hopefully that's against the Cubs.
They head to Wrigley from here as they make their way back east. Teoscar Hernandez. 2 walks over the first 13 games this season. 2 walks in 3 innings tonight. And now he adds a base hit. Hustling out of the box, makes the turn, heads for second. Pham's throw is late. Double for Teoscar Hernandez.
This pitch is a couple inches off the inside part of the plate. Teo busted it from the get-go. He's watching Tommy Pham out there, and he decides he's going to test him.
You think he gets a double off of that last year?
I think you know the answer to that.
Rhetorical. Strike one on Freeman. Strike 2.
Freddie's found himself all 3 at-bats in 0-2 counts. Oh, he's fun as a hitter.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Peterson to Freeman. Line drive, base hit right center. Hernandez stopped at third. Taylor's got a good arm, although that throw is up the line. First and third with 1 away. And it brings up Andy Pages. His 5th home run. RBIs 18, 19, and 20. Talking about what he does against breaking balls, his improvements that he's made against breaking pitches this season, and got to the point where it doesn't matter what you throw him. He's hitting .380 against hard stuff, .450 against breaking balls, .600 against off-speed pitches.
Well, when you're in a stretch that he's in right now, you hit it right on the head. It doesn't matter what you're throwing up there. He's hitting it. You know, it's interesting. His 20 RBIs, that's 1 less than the top 4 hitters for the Mets combined. They have 21.
Scorched to short, caught by Lindor. He didn't get his 20th RBI until May 11th last year. Sitting here April 13th.
Well, that doesn't matter. That's because guys weren't getting on for him. You know, RBIs are just lucky. That's just you're lucky you come up to the plate with a guy on.
Circumstantial.
Yeah, I mean that's not Andy. That's everybody else. Come on.
I always think back. We were on the trip together, Philadelphia and Washington. It's like, when is he going to get sent down?
Dude, he needed a hug. Like, I mean, he really needed a hug. I mean, we saw him sitting on the step.
Remember, he misplayed a ball in Philadelphia that cost him a game.
100%, I remember.
I bet he does too. Turning point, it looks like at this point. Up to Muncy with 2 gone. And Max, since his 3 home runs on Friday night, 0 for his last 9 with 6 Ks. Latest evidence that this game will humble you quick. Going 2. Two on, 2 out, and an 0-2 pitch outside for ball 1. The 6 Ks that Peterson has matched the season high. Four walks, though, have cost him. 4 walks and a hit batter. That was 1-2 offering to Muncy. Is hit down the line foul. Another 1-2. This time he got him with the high fastball, and he strikes out Muncy for the 3rd time today. 7 total for David Peterson. A run in the first, 3 in the 3rd, and Justin Wrobleski has faced the minimum through 5 innings. Fires a fastball for a strike to Tommy Pham.
Yeah, this Mets offense really been in a rut during 16 straight scoreless innings. They're 5 for 51.
Pham to short, Rojas to first. 1 gone in the 6th.
Would you believe 5 for 52?
I would, yeah. Last time they scored a run, the 7th inning on Saturday. They got shut out by the A's yesterday, finishing off a sweep in that 3-game series. And have brought up the minimum against Wrobleski here tonight. Justin with a shot to match his career high, 6 innings. Did that last June in St. Louis. That is only his second non-fastball / slider tonight. Curve misses for a ball on Marcus Semien. Dodger starters have given him great length all year. Flex to second off of the hands. One second baseman to another. Two gone in the 6th. This is going to be the 10th time out of the first 16 games that the Dodgers starter would have gone 6 innings. And remember last year, it's easy to forget anything bad from last year because of how it ended. But for a lot of the year, the bullpen was getting taxed because the starters were averaging under 5 innings per start.
Well, I mean, for me, the crazy thing is, it's not crazy, but Robleski is the Swiss Army knife. Sometimes he'll start, sometimes he won't. So this guy should be starting.
Taylor, who lined out his first time, taps this one back to Robleski, who has dominated tonight. He's faced the minimum through 6 scoreless innings. In Los Angeles, Santiago Espinal leads off the bottom of the 6th for the Dodgers. Fouls off Craig Kimbrel's first pitch. First cycle for the Dodgers after the team moved to LA. Wes Parker. That came against the New York Mets, who were managed at that point by the last guy to hit for the cycle in Brooklyn, Gil Hodges. And then Cody Bellinger did it in 2017 as a rookie in Miami on his birthday. So Craig Kimbrel resurfaces here with the New York Mets. Signed a minor league contract with the Mets this offseason. Started the season in AAA, came up this weekend and had a scoreless debut. 440 saves in Kimbrel's career. That's 5th all time. That's second to Kenley Jansen among active players. And 22 of those came with the Dodgers in his one season here. 2-1 to Espinal is hit off him, ricochets to second. Semien plucks it. 1 gone in the 6th.
Yeah, this thing looked like he was heading up the middle. Kimbrel threw a calf out on it. Shin do.
Rojas has had a good night and has had a good homestand. He's reached base 4 of his 5 times up. Shoots one to right center field. He's got another hit. Both of them the other way.
It's a 4-seam fastball down and away. Miggy does a nice job. You mentioned it's his second ball. He's hit the right. That when he hit earlier, it was up and in, and he was able to get on top of it and shoot it down the right field line. But 2 different ways of driving it the other way.
Ohtani extended the on-base streak by getting hit by a pitch in the first inning. 0 for 2 since then. First one from Kimbrel is on a tee and fouled back.
You know, I have to say, I've worked a few Shohei bobblehead games, and driving in on those, I always thought, man, the Shohei bobblehead night, that's just a nightmare for getting to a ball game. Hello Kitty today.
Yeah.
Top of the list now.
Hello Kitty said, "Hold my beer, Shohei." I just left my car on the 110 and
seriously. I would have never thought that.
I certainly didn't until I reached the exit.
I was like, you got to be kidding me.
I toured parts of Los Angeles I didn't know existed today, trying to get to work. Rojas hopping off to his lead. Not going. Ohtani stays alive. Another 0-2 from Craig Kimbrell. Rojas dances far off again. Back pick from Alvarez. Rojas in there safe. Shares a laugh with Ohtani. Shohei says, just don't hit me with your hand when you're throwing. I hate that. Happened in Toronto on the road trip. So that's 2 disengagements. Rojas is over there jumping around like he's the newbie. First time he wore 72 when he debuted with the Dodgers 13 years ago. He's running. Throw from Alvarez is in time. Boy, he had the greatest jump, and Alvarez still threw him out. We took a look, but no challenge. Impressive stuff right there from Francisco Alvarez. So now a 2-2 to Ohtani. We'll do it again. Oh, whoa, whoa, oh my gosh. I've never seen that.
What the heck?
Alvarez saw his life flash before his eyes. Oh my gosh. It looked like the 7 and under game I watched yesterday, 40 feet away. Pitch clock, he's saying that's called time. Get him from the violation. Oh, God.
Yeah, how about that, though? Alvarez, when he realized Kimbrel hadn't seen him, he got in the catching position. Shohei is animated on everything. I mean, it is just so funny to watch his expressions.
Get off me, ball. We'll do it again.
For a guy that has his reputation as stoicism and whatever,
Right.
I mean, it's 180 degrees.
I've said that before, Kate. It's like he's still so mysterious. We still know so little about the guy. What we know comes from what we see on his face from 7 to 10 each night. Reaches out and sends this one in the air to right field for Tyrone Taylor, and that'll do it for the 6th. That's the lowest number of pitches to get through 6 scoreless innings for a Dodger starter in 4 years. Clayton Kershaw back to 2022. Well, that's got to be this efficient. That's a challenge. Lindor even tapped his helmet. He's that sure that this is going to be a strike. Yeah, and it was.
Ball's overturned.
So a successful challenge right there. Strike 1 on Lindor. We've talked about it a couple times. Wroblewski hasn't gotten the swing and miss so far this season. Hasn't mattered. Tonight's a good example that that's not always the best way to live. Best way to get deep into games is early contact. And you're going to strike a bunch of people out. It's going to take more pitches to do it. He's only got 2 Ks in this game, but here he is for the first time in his career in the 7th inning. His 0-2 is downstairs. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Lindor.
Well, I'm just going by my own notes, so this I may be in trouble. Dr. Krajewski may have to check me, but since the 4th inning, he has not gone to a 2-ball count. Except for now. But that's crazy. When you think of that, he had not gone to a 2-ball count until right now since the 4th. Bouncing ball to short, charged by Rojas.
Low throw picked by Freddie Freeman. It has been teaching tape, attacking pitching. And he's always had that mentality like, hey, I'm going to come after you, confident, brash. Didn't have the resume to go along with it when he first got here. Nobody does. Does what he does in the World Series last year, gains confidence in himself. The team gains confidence in him, and it's snowballing. But that attacking mentality is leading to real results right here. He gets Robert on the first pitch. 2 gone in the 7th.
Well, and I think you hit on a good point where you're talking about the attack. And the attack is with only 2 pitches. You're not attacking with 4 where, you know, you're not so diabolical when you've got 4 pitches and 2 of them are like, eh. You know, that doesn't really feel like an attack if you're as a hitter. Right now, as a hitter, you're just going, oh, good. Fastball or slider, I got to do something here.
Confidence and conviction. He's saying, this is what I am. I know what makes me good, and good luck hitting it. Strike on Vientos. Strike 2 on Vientos. I mean, you can't even make a trip up to the concessions or hit the bathroom without missing a half inning the way this is going. Robleski on 71 pitches through 6 2/3 scoreless innings. Here's his 0-2. Up the middle, and he's got it. Justin Robleski pitching the game of his life here. 1 base runner for the Mets over 7 scoreless innings. Justin Robleski, his best game in the major leagues. 2, 3, and 4 for the Dodgers here. And Joey Gerber, who just got called up, makes his Mets debut. Dave Roberts talking through things with Mark Pryor. With the bullpen quiet, as it should be at this point. Ball and a strike on Tucker. 2 walks in this game. Gerber taking over. He spent last season in the Tampa Bay Rays organization, pitched in a couple of games. And now over to the Mets. Two and 2. Fastballs by him, or sliders by him for the first out of the 7th. Gerber now to face Will Smith. Mentioned last year pitched for the Tampa Bay Rays a couple games. That's the first time Joey Gerber had pitched in the big leagues in 5 years. Made it to the majors with the Mariners in 2020, but then underwent back surgery and then Tommy John surgery. Problems recovering from that. Finally got healthy, but at this point he's 4 years removed from pitching in the majors, and so had to prove himself again. Did so to get another chance. This one sneaks by Will Smith.
So many tales of perseverance in this game. Again, you know, you talk about 4 years in between, and then that's not toiling in the minor leagues. That's going through some physical issues and, you know, being away from the game. That takes its toll mentally. Got to be a special sort of bird mentally to play this game, just to deal with the failures and, you know, also just not a straight line.
Smith has worked it full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Gerber fires and a foul back. Smith 1 for 3 today. Started the scoring with an RBI single in the first inning. Dodgers trying to move to 12-4. Best record in the major leagues. Jam-packed really across the major leagues. The National League West is the only division where there's any kind of separation between the top and the bottom. Over in the American League at the start of the day, nobody more than 9 wins, nobody fewer than 6. Smith takes the walk.
That's kind of the ironic thing is, there's been so much talk about what's going to happen near the end of the year in the collective bargaining agreement. One of the big arguments is there's got to be more parity in this game. I mean, is there more? I mean, you couldn't have much more parity. Yes, you have the Dodgers at a different level, but shoot, everybody else. I mean, what's a better definition of parity?
I'll show you some parity. How about a 10-run inning for the Pittsburgh Pirates today to help them get their 10th win? Pirates are 10-6 in first place in the Central. Ball and a strike on Tasker Hernandez.
And to take that a step further is you can sit and say, well, yeah, well, the Dodgers, they're the big behemoth or whatever. You could make an argument that last year, winning the World Series, there was a lot of good fortune that had to happen. And you can take it a step further and go the previous season, they were down, to being eliminated by the Padres in that was it the division?
Yeah, down 2 games to 1 in a best of 5.
That's
Hernandez retired for the first time. Remember, they had to go through the wild card round last year. Did the Dodgers?
Well, when we say that, that couldn't have been set up more perfectly, right? It's like, okay, we're going to make you play a series so you don't have to sit around and do nothing for a week. We'll give you a practice series against the Reds.
It turned out that way.
That's what it was. Yeah. All right, we don't want to step on any toes, but
strike on just Freddie Freeman.
Warm you up for the next series. Come on, dude. It was a practice series. You weren't calling it, were you?
No.
There you go. Right. You don't do that. So you're going to tell me again how important that was?
Hey, in my defense, I had the American League side last year.
Good comeback. Atta baby.
Thanks. Love the wild card round. Freddie's 1 for 3 in this game. He's singled. He's scored. On base streak now 12 games for the Dodger first baseman. Blesky prowling, ready to go back out there for the 8th inning. 7 innings, facing the minimum. Just 1 bouncing ball, seeing eye base hit, keeping him from perfection through 7.
Well, and you mentioned it earlier that the perfection and only 2 strikeouts.
So right there is the 5th Dodger lefty to face the minimum through 7 innings in the live ball era, which goes back to 1920. Odalis Perez, Hyun-Jin Ryu, Rich Hill did it twice, and Clayton Kershaw did it twice. Freeman down the line. Will Smith on his horse. So is Tyrone Taylor to gather the ball in the corner. They will stop Smith at third on a Freddie Freeman double.
Hitting machine, that Freddie Freeman. Getting that ball down and in, just pulls his hands and shoots that thing down the corner.
And another RBI chance for Pages. Ball 1. 3rd inning. 3-run shot. talk about the bottom of the lineup being so good, far and away the best in baseball. And the big, bold reason why, for the most part, is right here. Other contributions, but when you got the best hitter in baseball statistically so far down there, it's going to elevate that whole group. And a lot of talk about, okay, why not move him up? Dave Roberts has said, yeah, he thought about that, but you love the idea of everything kind of funneling to him, not putting too much pressure on him. And that pitchers pay a tax by going through all the stars at the top of the order. Let him keep benefiting from that.
Well, that's the thing. You're winning ball games. You don't really have a need for somebody hitting up at the top. So why disrupt it? Why change right now with what Andy's doing down at the bottom part of the lineup? I mean, honestly, if you told Andy, okay, you're going to start hitting third or fourth, if I'm Andy, I'm like, keep me down at 7 or something. Again, there's no need for it.
Been one-offs where he's hit higher. Yesterday he did hit third on a Sunday where rushing is in for Will Smith. Mookie Betts not available at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. You're going to do that every once in a while, but just keep him down here and let him do his thing.
Down on strikes here. Dodgers strand him at second and third. Justin Robleski heads back out there for the 8th inning. Now, rugged, stylish, and powerful trucks and SUVs engineered for your adventures. Strike one on Bo Bichette. Justin Robleski has attacked the strike zone from pitch 1 tonight. Bichette's hit it hard both times, but robbed of a base hit by diving Miguel Rojas his first time, and then hit it right at Max Muncy his second time. Tanner Scott's beginning to loosen. Ground ball left side. Muncy gobbles it up. One gone in the 8th. With 75 pitches for Robleski to get to this stage. This is the lone base runner of this game. A long at bat for Polanco. Punched this one through the open right side of the infield. There have been 23 perfect games in baseball history, and that is all that is keeping Justin Robleski from being in the conversation for the 24th.
Yeah, that
Polanco
hit too.
takes high.
That hit too that Polanco had. 0-2.
2-0 on Polanco. Over to the Mets this offseason from Seattle. And they signed him to play first base for the first time in his life, but he's mostly DH'd, dealing with the issues with his Achilles. Cracks this one in the air to center field. Pages going back, shy of the warning track. He's got it. 2 out.
Catcher Francisco Alvarez.
How long do you think it is before he makes another start?
Well, you were saying it, like at this point this guy's got to be a starter, and we've talked about him as the 6th starter. He's in there when the schedule dictates it to get the other guys enough rest. Now, the elephant in the room is that he is far outperforming Roki Sasaki, who the Dodgers stand by as part of that rotation. 1 ball, 1 strike on Alvarez. The credit to Robleski for doing everything he can to say, hey, make sure you don't forget about me.
You know, that's one of the things too. He's so valuable as far as, okay, you can spot start him, you can bring him out of the pen, he can eat some innings, and it's one of those cases where it's almost like you pitch too well in all these roles that kind of solidify yourself in that role. But I'm with you, 100%. If he's in another organization, my man's out there every 5th day.
And I think too the fact that it comes 24 hours after Sasaki struggles the way he does. Other end of the spectrum here is Sasaki with the walks and having a hard time finding the strike zone.
Well, the one thing the Dodgers are fortunate with is they've got time. You know, they're not worried about winning a division. They're not worried about, oh man, we're going to find ourselves in a hole. It's, you know, they can let things play out.
1-2 is in the dirt, and the count evens 2-2.
And we're still not even talking about a rotation that has Blake Snell yet.
Robleski fires in the dirt. Good progress for Blake. Continues to take steps towards making his season debut, coming back from that shoulder. Three balls and two strikes on Francisco Alvarez. Robleski comes home. A line drive to center field in front of Pages. A base hit. And that does make it hurt a little bit less. What happened on the bouncing ball from Polanco back in the fifth. A legit line drive base hit to center right there.
Left fielder Tommy Pham.
2 outs for Pham. 0 for 2 in his first game of the year with the Mets. Just a couple weeks after they signed him. Caught the inside corner, 1-1. Tommy's thinking, I think it might have been inside, but am I allowed to use a challenge in my first day with the team? Robleski's 1-1 pitch. Check swing, laid off, ball 2. This has kind of been Justin Robleski throughout his baseball life. You know, getting challenged, finding a way to come back and flex again. 10 ERA as a freshman at Clemson. Goes from Clemson to the State College of Florida. You don't usually go in that direction. And then he goes to Oklahoma State. Pitches well, but undergoes Tommy John surgery. Falls to the 11th round. Struggles early on in his major league career. Keeps on making adjustments. And even in a stacked organization, even on a roster where it looks like there's no shot for him to crack through and play a significant role, to be a guy that you find in the bold letters and the headlines the next day. Here he is. 2 gone in the 8th inning. Best start of his major league career. Ground ball to short for Rojas. On to second. 8 scoreless innings from Justin Robleski.
Like it?
We'll see. See how the night goes. Muncy leads off for the Dodgers here in the 8th. Up 4-0. Joey Gerber delivers inside, ball 1. Now Muncy trying to join in on the fun. He's 0 for 3. 3 strikeouts in this game. Second straight 3 strikeout game for Max. A lot of strikeouts for the Dodgers last couple days. Double digits yesterday, 10 today. But 4 runs is plenty when you get the kind of pitching they've gotten from Robleski. Challenge coming here from Alvarez.
Pitcher stole the ball. Catcher is challenging.
And it was a good one.
Ball's overturned. Count 2-2.
So as Nick Lentz lets you know, the count 2-2 on Muncy. Strike 3 called, and this is Max's turn. And Nick.
Pitcher called a strike. The hitter is challenging.
And this one did catch the corner, and so it is a 4 strikeout game for Muncy.
The hitter is out. Los Angeles has 1 challenge remaining.
A 1 gone in this 8th inning. When we finish up, be sure to stay tuned. Access SportsNet Dodgers, presented by Mercury Insurance, will follow us. Guys bundled up on a night where the temperatures dip down into the 50s. Santiago Espinal pops it back and out of play. He's grounded out all 3 times in this game, 2 for 12 to open his time in Dodger blue. Same time, same place tomorrow. Yoshinobu Yamamoto for the Dodgers. 2-1 with a 2.50 ERA, and a guy that already feels like the ace of the Mets, Nolan McLean. We saw in the World Baseball Classic. He's got a 270 so far for the Mets. McLean made his debut late last season, made 8 starts, and so 11 starts into his major league career, 6-2, a 2.23 ERA. Tua. All 5 outs for Gerber. Strikeouts. Pretty darn good first impression.
Yeah, got a bit of an unconventional leg kick.
Shortstop, number
There's a
72.
lot going on. Not overpowering stuff, but move things around. Location has been great. Like I said, the leg kick a little different.
Does that just become hard to pick up? Does it become hard to time?
Just think it's just not something that you're used to, right? I don't know what it's like picking that up, if that hides the ball a little bit or whatever it is, working right now.
Speaking of working, what a night for Justin Wrobleski. Here's 1-1 to Rojas, who's already got 2 hits. Now make it 3 into left center field. Rojas on base 6 of his 7 times up on this homestand. And he gives the fans one more look at Shohei Ohtani. Wrobleski, by the way, 4 swings and misses in his 8 innings. That's the fewest in a Dodgers start of 8 scoreless innings since they started tracking pitch-by-pitch data. It was almost 2 decades ago now. One and 2. Kyle Hurt, who just got brought back up today. When I say back up, that's for the first time in a couple years. There's a towering fly ball to right field that he just got under. Taylor waits for it to come down. He probably waited to see it again as it disappeared up into the night. To the 9th inning. Wow. The call to the bullpen is brought to you by Jacoby and Myers, and Tanner Scott looks for the last 3 outs of this ball game. Marcus Semien leads off for the Mets. In danger of getting shut out for a 2nd consecutive game. For Scott, after he had a 4.74 ERA last year, he's got a 1.35 this year.
Yeah, he's certainly righted the ship. You see in those 6 2/3, 8 strikeouts, but more importantly, no walks.
Semien into left center field and promptly has a base hit against the Dodger bullpen. 2 key guys for the Dodgers this year were going to be Tanner Scott and Blake Treinen. How would those veteran relievers bounce back? And you got Scott with the improvement we just mentioned. Blake Treinen goes from a 5.40 ERA last year to not giving up a run through his first 6 games. And those 2 guys who felt like wild cards as turnaround candidates, the biggest reason why this bullpen has exceeded expectations. Here's Taylor, and strike 1.
And again, the crazy thing is Evan Phillips will be back at some point. Gratterall, right?
Brock Stewart working his way
yeah,
back. And then whatever trickle down you have from, like you mentioned, Blake Snell coming back. Scott's 1-1 pitch. Taylor takes challenge.
Pitcher's called the ball. The catcher is challenging.
Ooh.
Call is overturned. Count is 1-2.
I mean, I know Oral's probably watching this at home and getting all excited that that pitch is a strike, but that's just, that's ridiculous.
That's the hitter.
That's ridiculous. Like, you gotta give me more than a seam on the part of the plate.
Two seams? Is that
I mean, you gotta give me half a ball or something.
Pop up. Freddie Freeman waits for it and makes the catch for the first out of the ninth. So back to the top in Francisco Lindor, whose nightmare start to this season has continued with an 0 for 3 down to 179. And those same words can be used for this whole lineup. In danger of dropping a 6th consecutive game, 9 runs total in those 6 games. And I know they're without Juan Soto and things changed drastically, but they still have a bunch of former All-Stars. They still have all the guys they brought in to change everything. And everybody's slumping together where you don't have any kind of body of work to quell the concerns that come from it. Grounded to third, couldn't do it. Muncy to second one. Espinal to first. A double play. Dominance from the Dodgers tonight. Justin Robleski, the man of the hour. 4-0 as he fires 8 scoreless.
Yeah, absolute dominance. Only a couple strikeouts, but more importantly, worked ahead all evening. And for the young man, he has just got to be elated because he knows that he can start. He knows that he can pitch, and he can pitch at a high level. Got the opportunity tonight, answered the bell. Dodger offense again, good. I mean, Dodger team is just, they're fun to watch, and they're only going to get better and better.
And they improved their Major League best record to 12-4 to open this year. Robleski, really good in Toronto. Really better tonight. 8 scoreless innings to get a 4-0 win. For Eric Karros, Kirsten Watson, and the rest of our crew, Joe Davis saying so long from Dodger Stadium. Stay tuned for Access Sportsnet Dodgers. We'll talk to you again tomorrow night.